Hello and welcome to Expeditions Rome. If you want to check out the game, there is a link in the description. This was actually suggested to me by someone out there in the comments, and thank you very much for the suggestion. I'm always happy to receive them because it results in finding some really crazy cool games like this. So let's just start a new game straight away. And basically, we are now going to be playing as a person that is going to ascend from a very low point and try to become something amazing.
Wars of self-defense, most notably in Greece, where Lucullus himself was commanding the legions. With everyone's gaze directed at the provinces, few could have known that a seemingly inauspicious event in Rome would become the central fulcrum around which the fate of the Republic would turn. The paterfamilias of a venerable patrician house had passed away unexpectedly, and a senator by the name of Vitellius Scaevola had made a bid for the hand of his eldest child. His widow alone believed that Scaevola had poisoned her husband, and now strove to take his place and claim his property through marriage. Acting in secret, the widow arranged for her youngest child to be taken out of their villa in the dead of night and smuggled out of Rome.
Alright, so there you go, there's the backstory a little bit here, and obviously you can decide on what you want to be. We're going to be male, I suppose, and we're going to be choosing all of our customizations. Personally, for me, I don't really care too much about the customizations so much because this is a top-down RPG kind of situation, so generally you're not really going to see your character that much. Like, yeah, sure, you're going to see him when he's fighting and moving around and so on and so forth, but most of the time you're mostly going to see the portrait. So the portrait is going to be the most important thing for us to choose here. Anyway, our first name is going to be something like, I don't even know. I haven't actually chosen something here, so I'm just going to go for some random thing. And we'll just go for something like this, Quintilius, family name, and the nickname will be Sausus. There we go. Absolutely amazing name, isn't it? Okay, so now... These portraits are hilarious. Okay. Oh my, look. Okay, we're going to go for this one because that looks hilarious. That looks so incredibly funny. Alright, so we'll go for average height right here. Skin color light, I guess? I don't know. What does this guy look like? I have no idea. Can we actually choose something that looks a little bit mean? Yeah, kind of. Okay, what's his hair like? Is his hair kind of like, what, brown? Light brown? That doesn't look like light brown to me. This does not look like light brown to me in this light, to be honest. But yeah, these look kind of weird. Okay, well, what about dark blonde? I guess we'll go for dark blonde. That's not usually my deal, but sure, why not? And then we can just choose something relatively similar to this. I guess long? This is long? Really? Okay. That doesn't really seem long to me, but sure, we'll do it. And now, each of these 3 perks unlocks unique dialogue options to persuade other people in different situations. Think about what kind of character you want to roleplay and choose your rhetorical style accordingly. During the story, you may get a chance to master a second technique, so I'm going to be going for pathos here because I personally, I think this seems kind of fitting for the portrait that we chose because he's kind of a bit evil. He looks evil to me, so we'll do that. Alright, and we can obviously choose our difficulty here, and we also have, well, we have permanent death of party members if they bleed out during combat. I'm going to leave this on, just because I think that makes it rather interesting. We're going to be playing on normal as well. Personally, for me, I'm not too convinced that I'll be able to actually do anything on hard or insane. I think that you're going to need to play through the game first of all, maybe, unless you're really good at these kinds of games, but otherwise I'm going to be just playing on normal and without Iron Man.
Did you hear me, Domine? Your body is surely present, but your mind seems somewhere else.
Ooh, and we also get dialogue options as well. I just cannot help but just chuckle to myself right now about our portrait. Just look at him, he looks so evil. Oh yes, I'm just gonna say, I'll just say, I'm just stunned by the beauty of this sea. Look at how blue it is.
It soothes the soul, doesn't it? I had come to think that this sea was so blue in my memories, only because I was young the last time I saw it. But I remembered right. I asked the Triarchus how close we are to Lesbos, but he would not give me a straight answer.
The sooner I can wet my blade, the better I'll feel.
You're not here to fight. Your mother wants you to be kept safe, not thrown into the front lines. Will you check with the Triarchus? Hopefully he will give you a clearer answer. He told me his name is Geminus.
You just need to use a little more charm. Make him like you. I'll see if I can tease some information out of him. And that's obviously our pathos, option. The other two options are not available to us at the moment.
You do have a way of speaking to people's emotions. I'm sure he'll be more helpful to you. You should also go and thank Quintus Aquilinus. I do believe he saved our lives with his timely appearance at the villa.
Thank you for coming with me, Serenos. I mean, not Serenos, Cineros? Cineros? Yeah, these pronunciations are not going to be very good for me, so if I get any wrong, that's just how it's going to have to be, and if you're annoyed by that, then good.
Thank you for bringing me along. It will be wonderful to see my homeland again.
And let's see if Geminus knows where we are. Alright, the quest markers point you towards your mandatory objectives and your optional objectives. Quest markers are only displayed for the currently tracked quest. When you have more than one, you can change which one you're tracking from the quest's menu. And we can use WSD to move around the map and all that wonderful stuff. You know, classic, turn-based RPG stuff. Alright, so we can now thank this guy for getting us out of Rome.
You handle the sea better than most. I'm glad.
We were never formally introduced. Kenturio, I think they say? I am Applesauces Quintilius Sauces.
You are not my subordinate. Please, call me Kaiser, if it isn't too familiar.
Well, then you can call me Sauces. I highly doubt he's going to be okay with doing that. I'm going to just say, not Aquilinus?
My subordinates call me Kenturio. My superiors call me Aquilinus. My friends call me Kaiser.
Oh, okay. Can we go over the plan?
Ah, she did not keep you apprised. Your mother has secretly been making arrangements with the consul. You are to join his command staff as tribunus.
What are the duties of a tribunus?
You will have very little responsibility. The tribunus of the legio assists the legatus while they learn how to command a military organization. You will not see combat, nor will you make any important decisions. You'll be safe, as your mother wanted.
This will be an excellent stepping stone to becoming a senator.
Indeed. Military service is mandatory to be elected as quaestor, but you know that. One word of advice. I know Lucullus is a friend of your family, but remember, he is the consul, elected by the people to rule all of Rome. It's best if you don't act too familiar with him in front of his men.
I should talk to the Triarchus. Or the Triarchus, I have no idea. I'm just randomly saying things at this point. So yes, anyway, let's go and speak to the fellow that runs the ship, I suppose. These fellows are gossiping all the time. Every single other person on this ship is just gossiping about us. I should just throw them overboard right now, shouldn't I? Alright, are you busy? I have a question for you.
Busy, yes. Not now, please.
It's a very fine galley you have here. I will almost be sad to step off it when we reach Lesbos. Do you have our destination in sight?
Ah, thank you. I work hard to keep her in good condition. We should be at our destination just after midday, so please enjoy the rest of your journey. Wait.
What is it?
Oh, shit. They're headed straight towards us. They're gonna ram.
Get your father's weapons. Let's see if you can actually fight.
Alright, so here we go. We're in the preparation phase initially. This basically just means that you can place your characters in whichever area you want to place them in. Usually it's a good idea, from what I recall from previous Expeditions games, because I did play Expeditions Viking, but that was I'm going to say that was a very different experience from what I recall. So yeah, anyway, basically what you want to do is you want to try to put people that are support-ish characters and archers and so on and so forth in the back, and you kind of want to put your frontline fighters a little bit closer to the, front, obviously. And so, yeah, we basically just need to, you know, first select which skill to use. Each skill can not be used more than one turn, and so on and so forth. So as you can see right here, for example, with Cineros, we actually have Concussive Strike, which has the ability to armor shred and applies weaken to enemies. And we also have Reach, which is a longer ranging attack, which can attack from 2 hexes away, which is actually really, really powerful. And you can also swap between characters however you so desire. So basically, if I go over here and then I want to switch to a different character and then attack with them after moving, then I can do that, and then I can return to this guy and attack with that. So there's a completely free-form ordering of characters. We don't need to be specific about how we want to play that. So if I want to, I can basically just do aimed shot here, and I think that's what I'll do. I can basically shoot any of these guys right here. I'll just shoot this guy. 100% chance right there. And we also do have the ability to afflict status effects. Status effects can be positive, negative, and neutral. I'm not entirely sure what neutral would mean in this case, but yeah, they can be. So we're just going to move over here, and I will be, I guess, using slash or something like that. Only 2 damage. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more than that, to be honest, but all right. And we can go for shield push here as well. I'm just going to push this guy away. Going to move a little bit closer to him as well. And then we're just going to use reach against this fellow and just eliminate him super nice and easily. There we go. And whenever we kill or incapacitate an untrained character, such as a civilian or militia, in this case a mina, the character who dealt the final blow will regain their attack action. Remember that any given skill can only be used once per turn, and action points cannot be saved for the next turn. Try to finish off any untrained enemy with a character who will still have a skill left to use in that same turn. In other words, what I can do now is I can actually go up here and I can use Concussive Strike against this fellow. And that's going to enable us to eliminate him completely. And we can even use another skill if we so desire. So for example, we can see here, applies coordinated to allies, which increases our movement maximum. I don't know how long this is actually going to allow us to do that, but we might as well actually try to do it. I'm going to move over here, and then we'll do it like so. That's going to give coordinated to all of our melee characters at least, and that's pretty nice. So we were able to make really good use of that. And at the moment we only have 4 characters that we can currently control, but as far as I'm aware, you do get additional characters, and you can probably recruit more throughout the game as well. I'm obviously not really sure what's going to happen with that, but this fellow is obviously talking about the gladiator, so we're going to get another person right now, and as you can see, he has a spear and a dagger. And he's going to obviously join us. There you go. So he has now joined us, which is very nice. And let's see, what else do we want to do here? Well, these guys just have spears. We could technically push them away if we want to. Let's get my archer to do something. Let's just shoot this guy. 2 damage. Wow, that's really not very good. Maybe I need to move him a little bit closer. That probably would have made more sense. Another 2 damage. Wow, that's really very little, actually. I was kind of hoping that they would do... he would do a little bit more, but apparently not. There we go. That guy is dead, and now we can do a little bit of something here. We can do some slashing damage, I suppose. Maybe we can inflict a bleed or something, and then maybe we can get this guy's action restored. Yes, we can. Wow, this guy is just an absolute monster. He's doing so much damage, and we can just do this. I'm actually going to move this fellow over here because we kind of need to. And then I think we are basically done. Yeah, we are basically done. So, actually, no, wait a minute. We have the gladiator still available here. So I think the best thing that I can do, bear in mind, this fellow actually has a new system called Focus. And Focus, as far as I'm aware, can be generated to use the Shiv skill. And the Shiv skill does not cost an action point, it uses Focus instead. So the more times that we can use our abilities, for example, our 1-2 attack here, you can see there, boom, look at that. We then get more focus points, and then we're going to be able to use Shiv inevitably. So that sounds pretty good, right? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Anyway, I have actually increased the speed of the AI, by the way, so when we are in combat, they are going to be moving faster than they normally do. I've increased it to 1.5 of normal speed, and we can increase it to 2.0 of normal speed, so double the speed than it usually is, if we want to do that. Gonna go for another 1-2 here, And maybe that's going to do something. Yep, there we go. We can actually eliminate this guy, and then we can actually use precise stab against this one as well. And we can even move over here if we want to, but I believe we're going to be getting an attack of opportunity, possibly. Yes, yes. Yeah, there's also a glancing blow right there. So armor and helmets grant resistance against some of these damage types, slashing, piercing, bludgeoning. Whenever a character is hurt, their resistances determine the percentage chance that the attack is reduced to a glancing blow. A glancing blow deals only 25% of normal damage and does not apply any further status effects. If you find your attacks reduced to glancing blows, look at what damage types your enemies are least resistance to and switch to a weapon or skill that deals that type of damage. So that's very, very interesting, and actually something that we're going to have to take really, really big careful of, to be honest. We're going to be we're going to have to be very careful of that, because otherwise we're going to have some issues. Anyway, do some damage. Look at how much damage this guy can do. He's insane. He does so much damage. I wouldn't have expected him to actually be a support character, but he is. It's actually kind of hilarious. Anyway, let's just move over here, and we're just going to shoot this guy. Going to be able to kill him pretty easily, I think. There we go. That was a glancing blow, but that's absolutely fine. And he is done. Now we can move this fellow maybe over here as well. I think everyone else is basically done. No, he can actually still move. So we'll just do that, and then we'll finish this guy off with a wonderful little shield push, hopefully. There we go. And there we have it. Everyone's uninjured, which is great.
Back to Neptune's asshole, barbarians!
The Triarch has run us straight into the pirate ambush stream. Allow me to execute him right here and right now. This traitor must be working with them.
We're sailing to join a war against pirates. It's not so surprising that we should be attacked by pirates on our way.
Don't be naive. This was no random attack. They were out for blood.
It is quite unusual for pirates to attack any ship, let alone a heavily armed Roman galley. They prefer to attack lightly defended coastal towns instead. It's less risky and more profitable.
Well, let's go talk to the man.
Alright, yeah, so now we have to question the Triarchus. However, I wouldn't mind actually taking a look and seeing what... apparently I can't actually see what my characters are like now, because I would have liked to have actually spoken to them beforehand, but I guess I should have done that before we spoke to the guy initially, because that's what triggered the overall event. But I guess we'll get to know more about them a little bit later on. But as far as I'm aware, one of these guys is actually called Julius Caesar. Now I'm not entirely sure if that is actually him. But that would be pretty interesting, actually. I think it's the young guy that we just saw speaking right there.
Geminus, you steered us into a trap.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I had nothing to do with it, I promise. They came out of nowhere.
Silence! You utter nonsense! By Mars, it is the sea! How can anyone come from nowhere?
We cannot execute a man based on no evidence. Besides, we need our Triarchus to make it safely ashore.
Huh. What do you say, kid? What do you think we should do?
If pirates don't attack ships as you say, why would these ones make an exception?
We are, many of us, important people, on our way to join the action against Lesbos. Is it not conceivable that the rebels heard of us? The Kingdom of Pontus is known to sponsor pirates, to harass and weaken Rome. I do not believe we have any reason to suspect our Triarchus of colluding with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that actually makes sense. So we're just gonna say what's done is done. There is nothing to gain from executing the Triarchus now, because here's the thing: the overarching story right here is that the Kingdom of Pontus is apparently hiring pirates to become soldiers for them, and so that's exactly what's happening here. So I'm just gonna say what's done is done.
Very well. We shall spare his life. But remember, mercy is a luxury you will not always be able to afford.
Well, we could possibly say, I don't actually know. I mean, we look evil, so I'm thinking that we should probably be evil, but I really don't believe that the Triarchus knew that this was happening, because we were speaking to him at the time, and he was surprised as pretty much anyone that we were going to be attacked. as you saw when the the other ship was coming in to ram us. So I'm going to just say perhaps, but in this case we certainly can't afford to lose our Triarchus. We still have to reach Lesbos.
A wise choice, my friend. Killing the Triarchus of our ship in the middle of the sea would have been inconvenient, indeed.
Thank you. If you ever again need the help of a skilled navigator, I am at your service.
Rowers, up the tempo! And keep your eyes open.
And as you no doubt saw on the right side of the screen there at the end of the cutscene, or at the end of the little conversation that we had, there is a relation system as well. So basically whenever you make a decision, or a major decision shall we say, there is going to be some kind of consequence to that. And so the various Praetorians and soldiers and so on that you have in your party, they are going to react to whatever you have done. So that's actually a very cool thing in my opinion. Otherwise, we can now select our class. There are 4 different classes available, and then we also have starting skills as well. So the ones that we have here are the Princeps, the Veles, the Sagittarius, or the Triarius, and I have no idea. I actually have no idea what to go for here. This is obviously the easiest one, as you can see right here. The Princeps is the most straightforward class to play, which may very well be the best course of action for me. But for me personally, I'm actually kind of thinking that maybe I would like to play as this, because this allows us to do, well, it allows us to have good mobility and high single target damage if we take the assassin trait right here, which is a cheap shot. 100% critical chance for the next attack by this character. That could be insanely powerful. But we also obviously have the archer. As you can see right here, you can be an archer, you can be marksman, sniper, hunter, all of that wonderful stuff, and you have all these other abilities available to us. However, we already have an archer as far as I'm aware, if we maintain all of these soldiers, if we have all these soldiers, of course. And then apart from that, we also have these subclasses. Now, I actually have no idea if this is going to be actually any good, because as far as I'm aware, we have a medic. Because you see here, the, what's his name again? Cineros or something like that? He actually has the ability to provide us with coordinated through the use of this skill. And that means that he is a medic, technically. So that means that he is inevitably going to be healing our troops. So from my perspective, I feel like it would probably be a cool idea to just choose what we think. So I'm probably just going to choose this. Or we could go for Shiv. No, I kind of feel like I want to do this. I want to do Cheap Shot, because this actually, well, I mean, you can see here, it costs 2 focus, and we're going to be getting focus really, really easily, so I'm actually just going to go for this. And these are the starting pieces of equipment that we're obviously going to be able to get, and we're also going to be dual wielding. Our class weapon is the dagger, and we're going to be using medium armor. Sounds fun. Act 1, Asia Minor, 1st century BC. When is 1st century BC? Is that 1700? Is that 1700 or maybe 1600 or something like that? Can you tell that I'm actually joking?
Gentlemen, welcome to Lesbos, the pearl of the Mediterranean.
An ugly nest of pirates.
An impenetrable fortress of pirates, more like. With an infinite food supply thanks to the strength of their fleet.
We shall find a way to limit this infinite supply, then.
You think like an imperator, Gaius. All right, people. This is Lucullus's war camp, the heart of our operations in this territory. You have been seaborne for a long time now. I suggest you walk it off. See the things you have to see, and meet the people you have to meet. The consul waits in the command tent. Don't be too late if you don't want to see him angry.
Alright, very nice indeed. So now we can actually speak to all of our people if we want to. I'm actually wondering, oh, Gaius is running on over there. I'd actually like to speak to him because I think I have a sneaking suspicion that he is indeed having something to do with Julius Caesar, potentially. Otherwise, let's move on. And here is the tent. Alright, so no, we can't actually speak to him yet.
To work, as long as the rebels keep receiving supplies by sea.
We will need to cut their supply lines. It's an operation for our occulta speculatoris.
I'm gonna just remain silent for the moment.
Well, don't just stand there like a plant. Come on in. By Jupiter, you sure have grown up, haven't you? This is the promising young man I was telling you about, Thermus.
Quite unassuming, but full of potential, I guess. Prime material for the Speculatores, if he can prove himself.
Well, just tell me what needs to be done.
A trial by fire is what you need. Now pay attention. We've been in a deadlock here on Lesbos for some time now. My co-consul, Marcus Aurelius Cotta, is engaged against King Mithridates of Pontus, in the east. Mithridates is using the pirates of Lesbos as his navy.
The fortress of Mytilene here is well protected, but it also has a weakness. There's a mountain pass we can utilize. I will lead the assault myself.
I volunteer for the vanguard. If my uncle can defeat Pontus, I can surely handle Mytilene.
So be it, then. Meanwhile, you will prove yourself as a leader, my young ward. Take Caeso Quintius Acollinus, Yoserus Cineros, and that gladiator who came with you on the ship. You will meet up with Iulius Calidus of my legion Speculatores. Your mission is to sneak into the harbor and destroy the enemy's ships any way you can. I expect you have questions.
Well, I was under the impression that I was to serve as your tribunus.
If you're worried about your future political prospects, have no fear. We will tell everyone you served as my tribunus with great distinction.
No more questions. I'll do what needs to be done.
Wait. Are those your father's old weapons? I'm sure they mean a lot to you, but look. The leather is brittle. This won't do. Visit my smith, Sextus, and get yourself properly equipped before you go.
Aha, when you're ready to leave the area, look for this icon and find an exit. Alright, alright. Okay, so let's actually speak to Gaius.
Solway.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna say you have the look of a man running away from his destiny. I am Applesauceus Quintilius Sauceus.
On the contrary, my friend, I am running towards it. My name is Gaius Iulius Caesar.
Aha, yes, exactly what I thought. Okay, very good. This is all quite new to me. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all. But keep in mind, I am not the most experienced soldier either.
I will say you are an interesting man, Gaius.
Interesting? I shall accept this as a compliment, but prepare to be disappointed. To the extent of my knowledge and ability, I shall try to be as helpful as I can.
Oh yes, indeed. Well, let us talk later.
Listen, you seem trustworthy. I may have need for your help on a rather sensitive matter.
Of course, Gaius. You can trust me.
That is good to hear. Keep in mind the matter I'm about to mention is rather personal in nature. Your discretion would be appreciated. I've been keeping a detailed account of our journey ever since we left port. Shortly after our arrival, however, the journal went missing. I believe it to be stolen by one of the Centuriones.
Are you sure it was stolen? Let me see what else I can say here, actually. What makes you think it was a Centurio who stole it?
I have seen a particular man walking out of my tent. As a matter of fact, I have already confronted him, and he pretty much admitted his guilt.
But why would he steal your diary?
Pain comes in many forms. Physical, emotional, and let us say that some men just enjoy inflicting pain in all forms.
Very well, tell me what I can do for you.
The Centurio is called Agrippa, I think. He hangs out with his friends near the tent over there. I thought perhaps you could convince him to hand over my journal. Needless to say, I would like to keep the contents of the journal private. I would appreciate if you'd refrain from reading it.
That sounds good to me. Alright, I'm very, very pleased to do that. Okay, wait a minute. Where is... there is Agrippa right there. Okay, I'm going to assume that the other characters here, the other companions, I guess you could kind of call them, I'm pretty sure they're going to have quests of their own. So let's just deal with Agrippa's first.
We're in the middle of something, Tribune. What do you want?
I believe you're in possession of someone's private property. I'm here to retrieve it.
This? Ah, well, this is priceless. A journal written by Cotter's stupid nephew, who thinks of himself as the greatest commander history has ever seen.
He also happens to be my friend, so I suggest you hand it over right now.
Why don't you send him back here to beg for it again?
I can make it worth your while. The journal in exchange for 300 denarii.
For this worthless drivel? Now that's a bargain. Take it.
Alright, well we got it back. Unfortunately I didn't have the ability to utilize my persuasion ability because Pathos was not available here. I only had the ability to use one of the other ones that I didn't have access to.
Solway, I see you have successfully retrieved my journal. May I ask how you managed it?
I should have just punched him, shouldn't I? Anyway, everything has a price. In this case, the price was 300 denarii.
You paid out of your own pocket. I don't know what to say. Thank you. I'm literally in your debt.
That will be unnecessary. You will pay me some other way.
You have already started collecting favors. Wise. One last question before we're done. Did you read my journal?
I am curious about the journal's contents, but I respect your wishes.
That is the most virtuous thing to do, and I expected nothing less of you. Thank you, my friend.
Alright, and as you can see, we gained some experience. I actually have no idea how much experience 10 actually denotes, to be honest, because let me actually just see here. If I go to party management, okay, here we go. So basically, we can get experience points. You can take a look at their personality traits and so on and so forth. And experience is gained from doing all kinds of stuff. And these are the combat stats, as you can see right here. Obviously, we're starting very, very low at the moment. We're not going to be doing that much damage at all. And you can see each and every single stat right here, which is going to affect how much damage you do with particular attacks and so on. So you see here that we have health, armor, movement, and our focus maximum. And then obviously you have weapons and so on. And then you can see your perks. And every single person has a bunch of different perks here. And you can even see their personalities. Like, for example, Aquilinus is hedonistic, skeptical, and honest, and he also has the constitution and agreeable perks. So, for example, an agreeable person reacts twice as strongly to all actions that they approve of, and so on. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see exactly what's going on with all these guys. And you can even change your own name. Yeah, you can even change your own name anytime you want. So that's actually pretty cool. And then you also have skills here as well. So you can purchase class skills and add them to your hotbar. And you can see how many unspent skill points you have. And passive skills have a round icon, while active skills have a square icon. Active skills must be assigned to the skill bar to be used during combat. This is what I currently have available because I don't actually have good weapons right now. Basically, weapons give you skills that you can use. So it's basically tied to your weapon choice, which in my opinion is pretty cool. I actually have 3,000 denarii, so me spending 300 is not actually that big of a problem, at least in my opinion. Anyway, yeah, we are going to be going down here and picking up our weapons